Hello, everybody. How are you on this early spring? I'm going to say early spring evening. If you are watching this on the replay, still jump into the comments. I want to hear from you, especially on today's topic. So I am going to click over to Facebook and see if we are indeed broadcasting live. I'm going to refresh and see what's happening over there. And if any of you can hear me, please post in the comments. I want to hear from you. All right, let's see what's happening here. Okay. I do not see us live yet, but I am still going to hold out some hope here. You never know when it's going to start. Let me see now. Okay, I do not see us live yet. Not sure why not. But can still keep. Okay. Lori, thank you. Okay, cool. I guess this is live. All right, please do comment below. There must be a delay. That must be why wasn't showing for a while there, but please do comment below. Where are you logging in from? What is in your glass tonight? I'm going to take these off because I think they attract a glare. But my computer is super slow tonight. I won't say it. Must have a virus. All right. Well, until my computer catches up with where we are, I'm going to just keep going live here. I'm Natalie McLean, and I offer some of Canada's and North America's most popular online classes, wine courses. And you can join me for a free online class at nataliemclean.com/class. Now, let me just try another URL to see if I can catch up with you folks over there, because I do indeed know it's live. I just hope you're hearing me. Oh, here we go. There we go. Already, there's a crowd here. Yay, good. Gian is here. Lori's here. Jim is here. Great. Loud and clear. Oh, I love it. I just need to be a bit more patient sometimes because I don't always know if the technology is working. All right, let me mute myself. Do not need to hear myself in stereo. All right, guys, now I can see all of you. David Smith is here. Hello, and he's drinking Laura's Red. Dwayne Orville Foster is here. So Dwayne, Jim, Lori, Gian, what is in your glass? Either what's in your glass now, or if there's nothing wine-wise, what have you been enjoying lately? I would love to know. What's been in your glass that you've loved? And you can also give us any advice for what to avoid. I welcome that as well. I am going to take a sip. Oh, you are enjoying, you know what, Lori? We are birds of a feather. So Lori is one of my course students, and this is the wine we're going to be tasting tonight. As you can see, I already started with it, my partner and I. Bourgogne, it is a beautiful wine. So after this Facebook Live, Lori and my other course students, including Gian and David and Dwayne, we shall be gathering in our private Facebook group for a tasting of not only that Burgundy, but also up on Tira Zinfandel, a Murphy Good Merlot. These are such good wines for the money, I think. And a really special Burgundy from Givry. So, guys, students, stay tuned for more details on those. Gian is starting with the piano, so you're all on the same page with me on the Bourgogne. Incredible value, isn't it? We'll be talking more in detail about that tasting, that wine, in our private group. Adam is here. Hello, Adam. I'm glad you could join us. What's in your glass? So as I mentioned, guys, we are going to be talking about the impact of the coronavirus on the wine and restaurant industry. And this is not meant to be a downer, nor am I taking it too lightly, but I wanted to share with you some interesting facts and trends and things that are happening in the industry, but also I want to hear from you. Has news, first of all, where are you on the planet? Tell me where you are. And what news have you heard about the coronavirus in your community? And what's your reaction to it? Are you worried? I hope you're staying calm no matter what. is it changing anything wine or food related for you? Thank you for all the hearts and thumbs up, guys. Lynn is here, and Michael. All right, guys, tell me what's in your glass. But I want to hear from you. Are you changing anything you're doing wine-wise? Are you dining out less often, or does it have no impact? Are you stocking up on wine and toilet paper? Oh my goodness. Have you seen the rush on toilet paper? I went to Loblaws the other day, our grocery store, and it's just one whole aisle was empty. It's crazy. Just insane. I don't know why the rush on toilet paper and not some other things. Purell I can understand, but toilet paper? Come on. I would grab Pinot Noir before toilet paper. I won't go down that rabbit hole. Anyway, Jim says, Pinot Bourgogne as well. All right. Getting a head start. You are an A+ student, Jim. We'll be tasting more of that in the private group. Lynn, buying as much Barolo as I can. So Lynn, is that associated at all with the coronavirus, or you're just stocking up on Barolo? Alana McLeod is here. Hello, Alana. What's in your glass tonight, my dear? Paul Hollander is here, and that probably means Patty as well from Virginia. What are you folks sipping on? Jim is in Markham, Ontario. So, Jim, are you hearing much news there? I'm in Ottawa, as many of you know, so we have not had a confirmed case yet, but I am hearing about these some cases in the greater Toronto area, I think. I'm heading to Toronto tomorrow actually, because I'm going to be on Global's morning show on Friday, and we're talking about the price of wine and that sort of thing. It's a lighthearted topic, but yeah, you start to think twice about travel and dining out. I mean, personally, I'll share with you what my approach is right now. I am staying calm, of course, listening to vetted news sources, which often does not include the internet, unless it's from a reputable source. But Miles and I, my partner Miles and I, are still dining out as we usually do. We are just washing our hands like crazy. That's all. Washing our hands. And, doing some of that personal distancing. I know these are such weird terms, aren't they? But we're avoiding shaking hands. And I don't know if you saw on Jimmy Fallon on The Late Show, there's now the foot shake. So you just tap feet, shoes. Anyway, it's bizarre. Hello, Stephen. I'm glad you're here. What's in your glass, Stephen? I want to hear from the rest of you as well. I'm so glad you're here. So yeah, in terms of precautions, that's what we're doing. And we'd already taken some personal travel to Florida and Turks and Caicos, so we have not planned any more travel. But I am still going to travel back and forth to Toronto when, I need to be on TV. I'm not going to be dissuaded from that until I hear an official health advisory not to do that. But there is news in the wine world about how the coronavirus is starting to have a more serious impact. And I wanted to share some of those details with you. But I'd love to hear from you. Are you changing your dining out habits, your wine buying habits, your travel to wine regions? Is anything changing? Or are you just sort of in a wait and see mode? Are you going to events anymore, tastings, winemaker dinners? Gian says, so far no changes besides eating more at home and nodding to people instead of shaking hands. I like the foot touch wave, yes. All right, Isaac James Baker is here. Hello and welcome, Isaac. What's in your glass? Elaine Peters is here. Hello, Elaine. All right, perfect. So let me share some of the info with you then about what I'm hearing in the wine industry about what's happening. And I will come back to you, but please, in the meantime, have a sip, relax, breathe. Let's everybody stay calm, right? So Robert Herzer is here, and Lynn and Tom Singleton are here. Great, terrific. So glad you could join us, guys. This Bourgogne, oh my goodness. I cannot wait to jump into that. in the course session. Okay, let me share some details. First of all, if you are enjoying this conversation or think you're going to enjoy it, please take a moment to share this video with your friends and followers and let them know why they might find this interesting. As you know, we gather every second Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern just to share a drink and a chat and our favorite wines and talk about the news of the day when it comes to wine, food, restaurants, travel, mostly wine. All right, so let me share with you some of the details that I've been reading. First of all, some of the silly stuff. So I'm sure you've heard by now that a poll found that 38% of people thought Corona beer causes or is linked to coronavirus. And that's just silly, right? Oh my gosh, how can people even think that? But anyway, not true. Fake news. But here's an interesting thing that I came across as I was doing my research for our session today. There are a lot of people starting to use certain brands of vodka to wash their hands, thinking that's more sanitary. And in particular, Tito's Vodka, which is an Austin, Texas-based vodka, has been selling out in liquor stores in Texas. And they've been trying to convince people on social media it's actually not preferable to hand sanitizers like Purell. The alcohol by volume is only 40%. And so apparently a hand sanitizer to be effective needs to be 60% alcohol to kill viruses, especially those that make up the coronavirus, or I'll just call it COVID-19, because as you know, the coronavirus is a collection of viruses. So COVID-19 needs a much stronger dose of alcohol in the blend. But so of course, some people are turning to things like Bacardi rum, which is over 60%, and others. But I don't know, I just found that a little bit of silly info that I'd share with you. Elaine says, I'm a member of the Ontario Wine Society and Niagara chapter of the International Wine and Food Society, and so far our scheduled events are going ahead. All right. Well, good to hear. That's good to hear, Elaine. Let me back up here. Lori says her trip to California wineries in early April is still in the works. Trip to Paris. Okay, interesting, Lori. London and Amsterdam, April 30th to May 12th is still on at this point. Okay, so you're not canceling those plans. Interesting. Elaine says we're experiencing a noticeable drop in numbers at our winery. You're our Broken Line winery, right? Broken Lines or Broken Line, Elaine. That's interesting. Yeah, people are not going to the tasting rooms. That's something else I've been reading about in response to the coronavirus. Jim says, went to a Leafs game with 20,000 others. No issue. Wash your hands was the key. Yes, absolutely. And just wash them frequently. There's a good video on CTV's Your Morning, and they say wet your hands first, then put the soap on, withdraw from the water. That's when you do 15 to 30 seconds, not in the water, then wash them off. And you want to get under the nails, and you want to get in here. Anyway, public health service message for you. Free. But it's really important. Lori says, oh yes, I got that comment. Dwayne says, we have Chateau Raspail 2011 and Blind Creek Collective Consensus from the Okanagan. Tell us about those wines, Dwayne. Those are interesting choices. Rick Delderis, hello from Los Gatos. Hello, Rick. Enjoying a 2000, I thought you were saying emptying out a 2015. Enjoying a 2015 Testarossa Pinot Noir from Santa Lucia Highlands, Doctor's Vineyard. No events over 250 people in the San Francisco Bay Area. Yeah. I used to be in the high-tech industry. I used to work at a computer company. I was always based in Canada, but the campus or the main office was where Google is today. So it was in Mountain View, California. So I still have friends in high tech, and what they're saying is that the streets of San Francisco are empty, right? And it's just, it must be spooky and a little concerning. Meanwhile, in Beijing, in China, from China, we're getting, I think, more positive responses in terms of seemingly, if the news is, if the facts are real, they're containing it there. But Beijing restaurants are empty. The streets are empty. And there's also rules in Italy, which is now a contained zone, that if you go to a restaurant, you have to be 3 feet away from the person. In Beijing, there's a maximum of 3 people per table. So there's some real impacts in addition to just business plummeting. So Janet is here. Hello, Janet. What's in your glass? And Heather Proctor, same question. And if you're just joining this conversation, welcome, welcome. Let me know, is the coronavirus changing the way you dine out, the way you buy wine? Are you stockpiling? Are you still traveling to wine regions? If any of you are from wineries like Elaine Peters, let me know what you're noticing in the tasting rooms, wine sales. We'd love to know. Carol Ann LaRose is here, and Kevin, sorry, I don't have my glasses on. Kevin Lavulo, hi and welcome. Tell us what's in your glass. Between the lines, right, not broken lines, between the lines. All right, Elaine, thanks. Jane Staples is here. Hello, Jane. She says, I'm glad I traveled so much last year, just putting travel on hold right now. There's always the cottage. Very smart choice, Jane. Tony Schaefer is here, just returned from Napa Vintner Wine Tour in Los Angeles, well attended. Well, that's interesting. Carl Koster is here. Hello, Carl, and welcome. Janet says, I flew into San Francisco last night. Pretty empty plane, I'll bet. This morning, the nearby mall and the public transit were also void of many people, still hoping to get in some wineries while we're here. Oh, that's good, Janet. I'm glad you're going to do that. Deb is here from BC, I should say. Welcome, Deb, my dear. What's in your glass? Elaine says, hello all. Great instructions for washing up. I'm concerned as I do have another trip in June. Yeah, wait and see and hope for the best for all. Absolutely. Thomas Schoen is here. I'm so glad you all are here. This feels like a nice table chat. I'm going to take another sip of this wonderful Bourgogne that many of you have tonight, especially my course students, since we'll be tasting this afterwards in our private Facebook group. But I just need to take another sip. It's like pausing for station identification, right? All right. So yeah, let me put on some pretty pictures that have, as usual, nothing to do with what we're talking about. Well, they do. They're wine-related, food-related. But I'm going to share some more details and facts from the industry. Wine, restaurant, travel, what's happening right now in response to the coronavirus. And I want to hear from you. Are you changing your habits or your behaviors at all? All right, here we go. Let's see, there's some nice vineyards. And I assume you can still hear me. Just post in the comments if you cannot, if suddenly I went silent. All right, so so I told you about the hand washing with vodka, which seems really silly. Restaurateurs, in some of the more major, in some of the cities, U.S. cities that are reporting higher incidence of corona are saying that their business is down up to 50%. It's interesting, in New York City, the Modern, which is associated with the Modern Museum in New York, they are owned by Danny Meyer, who is just famous in the world of restaurants. And they apparently had a visitor, a diner, who tested positive for COVID-19. And they shut down the restaurant for a whole day and did a top-to-bottom sanitizing. Interesting. If any of you are in the high-tech industry, as I used to be, you know that South by Southwest was canceled in Austin, Texas. That apparently brings in $350 million to that local economy. So that's got to be hard, especially on the restaurant industry, who would depend on that. And then meanwhile, In terms of wine events, if any of you are familiar with some of the more major wine events, like Pro Wine in Germany, Vinitaly in Italy, of course, they've been canceled. And let me come back to you. So yeah, it's kind of major. There was a raw natural wine event in London canceled, of course, and even the En Primeur, the tasting of the new Bordeaux vintage that involves about 6,000 key wine buyers and journalists. That's supposed to happen March 30th to April 2nd, I believe. That might be canceled. They're saying not yet, but you can imagine the impact on Bordeaux, although Bordeaux doesn't seem to have problems selling itself through. But again, that event has been going on, formally or informally, for about 200 years now. And now they're saying that, it might not happen this year. Let's see. Dwayne Foster says he chose his wine because it's close to Burgundy, not much available in Nakusp. Sorry, I don't have my glasses on because it gives a glare from the lights I use, but so forgive my pronunciations and when I glide over words. So Dwayne says, so we went to our cellar. Beautiful wine opening up with us. That's great. Deb says she's got Garzon Albarino from Uruguay. Lovely, zippy, found it at the Vancouver Wine Festival. Deb, tell us what the Vancouver Wine Festival was like. Like, what were your impressions? What were your favorites? What did you enjoy? Who was the theme country? I need to get there. Was anybody else at the Vancouver Wine Festival this year? I want to hear from you. Tom Nolan is here. Welcome, Tom. And Alana McLeod, she said she went to Italy last year, loved finding Brunello by the glass. What a luxury, eh, Alana? Oh, my goodness. And I should tell my Canadian friends, the California Wine Fair is coming up in late March, early April. And there's 4 cities, Vancouver, Calgary, Toronto, and Montreal. And I would suggest, unless we get a public health warning not to attend, I would strongly encourage you to go. It is one of the best events on the schedule for wine events across this country. And I'm just going to put the URL, www.calwine.ca. There's both consumer events in the evenings, and there's a ticket price. It's modest for what you get, all the wines you can taste. And then there's a trade media portion in the afternoons that is free to members of the media and trade. So if you are a writer or a restaurateur or a sommelier, get in touch with me. I can connect you with how you can get into the events for free. No sneaky consumers, though. If you're not in the industry, pay up. Go in the evening. It's worth it. And I think proceeds in each of the cities, or at least a portion of them, go to a really good charity. Like in Toronto, it's Second Harvest, which provides meals to those who need that support, that food security, especially right now, right? Tom says, I had a beautiful Prosecco tonight with mushroom crab quiche. Oh, you're making us hungry, Tom. All right, so let me share some more. Again, let me know. Are you changing your habits in response to the coronavirus? Are you canceling or putting on hold travel trips? Are you still dining out as much as you used to? Let me share some more deets with you that I've been researching. So I mentioned some of those events that have been canceled, but of course here in Canada, I still would urge you to go to the California Wine Fair. In China, they're calling virtual tastings now over the internet, like what we're doing, cloud wine tastings, tasting in the cloud, so to speak, which makes a whole lot of sense. What else was I looking at? Yeah, some optimists. So, some of that news is pretty gloomy, but I just loved the optimist who said, well, people are staying home, they're cocooning, there's not as many celebrations right now, weddings, group gatherings, reunions, anniversaries, birthdays. But let's hope there's a baby boom in 9 months. They're hoping for a new raft of children to be born in 9 months as a result. So that's pretty optimistic, I'd say. Jane says, last summer, while in Finland, I discovered a couple of wines made from forest berries. One made from lingonberries and the other made from blueberries. How interesting. Excellent. In Croatia, last November, I fell in love with Plavik Mali. Plavik Mali, is that the one that they first thought could be Zinfandel, or it is Zinfandel? Because there's Primitivo, which is Italian, and there's Plavik Mali. I'm not sure if it was since proven or disproven to be a clonal cousin of California Zinfandel. Maybe you can let us know, Jane. And of course, in our group tonight, our group private tasting for students, we are going to be looking at this amazing Zinfandel, biodynamic and organic from Bonterra. Oh my goodness, we're getting some great comments. Francois Lalonde has joined us. Hello, Francois. What's in your glass? Greg, I'm going to have to put on my glasses. You guys are starting to write novels, which is great. I love the participation. Greg says, I'm a wine exporter from Australia. Oh, and sales are non-existent in China, Hong Kong, Taiwan, South Korea. This is for 2 reasons, but the main reason is that the offices in these countries are closed. People are being compelled to work from home, and let me see, this is very interesting. Compelled to work from home, and more importantly, there are no containers available to pack the wines to export. Oof. So make no bones about the impact on the Australian wine industry. That's a great point, Greg. It's not just a matter of can the winery still produce the wine. It's if demand plummets because you can't export, or no one's going to restaurants and buying the wine, then definitely the impact is real. Add to this the fires in Eastern Australia and the extremely dry conditions, and 2020 will not be the greatest year for much of the country. Wow. However, I might add that not all of Australia is smoke affected. This was a very strong misconception and was one of the main questions asked of me at the Vancouver Wine Festival. Be rest assured that there will be some great wines still produced in Australia. Excuse me. Some wineries will not be producing a wine this year due to smoke taint, most notably Clonakilla from the Canberra region. Greg, great update. Thank you. I love that we're gathered globally here and can update each other. Greg, I'd also love to hear from you what you thought of the Vancouver Wine Festival. What did you take away? What were your favorites? And so on. Tom says, I've had some of my volunteer events canceled this month for March. I visit a nursing home with my certified therapy dog. Oh my goodness. Wow. That's yeah, I guess, nursing homes especially have to be super, super careful because they're the most vulnerable, aren't they? Deb says about the Vancouver Wine Festival, France was the lead country or the theme country, and she drank lots of bubbles. But great wines from the U.S. Oregon, Pinot Noir, lovely, she says. Some very elegant Spanish wines. Canada had a great showing, lots of good representation there. Went to the Vintners Brunch as well. If anyone goes to this festival, the Vintners Brunch on Sunday is a must. So many good food and wine pairings for 3 hours. South America is the theme country next year, 2021. Fantastic. Thanks, Deb, for that update. Back to station identification. All right. Janet says, Janet's from the Yukon. In northern Canada, was host to a major circumpolar sports and arts events this month. It was going to attract thousands of young athletes from around the northern world. Oh, it's been canceled because of the virus, with a major impact on restaurants, hotel, yes. And it's even more impactful, too, for restaurant workers is often they're either hourly paid and they don't get paid if there's no business. I mean, staying home is a luxury they can't afford. And or they're highly dependent on tips. So, that base salary or income is not what pays the bills. It's the tips if you're out front serving customers. Deb says, love Bonterra Zen. Absolutely. Paula Caudill says, I sell wine and my New York and Washington distributors have both canceled my upcoming market visits. My Washington distributors said that downtown Seattle is a ghost town and restaurants are closing. Oh my gosh. I don't know if this is just rose-colored glass thinking, but I'm wondering if there's any upside to this whole thing happening with restaurants developing more infrastructure for home delivery. You know, I know it's not the same thing and it can't replace in-restaurant sales, but I wonder if that will pick up as a result of this, by necessity, that there will be more of an infrastructure to develop and to distribute meals to homes directly. And I guess perhaps services that are already in place, like Skip the Dishes or Uber Eats or whatever, might benefit from this. Who knows, right? Who really knows? And then there's all the meal kit deliveries that, you know, Blue Apron and Good Food, I'm not sure what they all are. But I guess they might be on an upswing too during this. I know certainly, personally, as I've mentioned, I teach courses online. So I mention this not to be opportunistic, but it is a good time to reevaluate gathering for physical courses, especially when there's so much hand touching and, you know, I know that you're not eating during the class, but food like bread and crackers and stuff. I consider online courses, I think, as a viable alternative. And I think if you've never taken one online, you'll be pleasantly surprised at just how communal they can be. I mean, look at our Facebook group here, how much fun we're having. But with a course, you know, you can also get together in a much more smaller, intimate group setting, but online. And, you know, we also do Zoom video conferencing and that sort of thing. So I'll put another link here, just in case you're curious. I offer a free class, a pairing class, 5 wine and food pairing mistakes that can ruin your dinner and how to fix them forever. That's a free video class online, so from the comfort of your home, safety of your home, you can take that and then decide if you want to continue on with my full course, which is a paid course. Anyway, just for your consideration, let me get back to some of these great comments. Brenda is drinking Patrice Pinot Noir, one of my faves, she says. That's a great Pinot. Great for the money, too, Brenda. Jane, they first thought Plavix Mali was related to Zim, but it's different. That's what I thought. And delicious. Stina is a great one. Ooh. Marilyn Sloss is here. Hello, Marilyn. Am I pronouncing your last name correctly? Sloss? Give me a pronunciation guide. And Marie Walsh is here. They're both students of mine, and we'll be gathering in our private group. Ooh, I'm going to have to wrap this up soon because we're gathering soon in 10 minutes from now. So let me get through the rest of your comments here, and then I'm going to have to close this off because I need to go find my peeps, my course students. Elaine Bruce picked up the Givry Premier Cru, Clos Saint-Pierre. I wonder if that's the one I have. Nope, slightly different one we're tasting tonight in this private group, Elaine, but tell me what you thought. Oh, you're going to have beef bourguignon. Well, report back and let us know what that wine was like for you. Diane Sheridan is here. Hello, Diane. So nice of you to join us. And folks, if you join us midway through or you're just joining us now, you can watch the replay. Similarly, if you couldn't make this live tasting and you're watching the replay, please post in the comments. I want to hear from you. Is the coronavirus having any impact on the way you dine out, buy wine, travel to wine regions? Greg says the Vancouver Wine Fest was amazing. We poured some amazing wines. And he lists a bunch of them there that I'll let you folks read because I'll get tongue-tied if I try to read them all. The event was well attended and the interest and knowledge are amazing. Many repeat visits. I encourage you all to attend. Wonderful. Greg or someone maybe put the link to the Vancouver Wine Festival in the comments, please, so people can find that too. Guillen says, good point with the delivery of food. I must admit I joined HelloFresh last month. And I am even still a member of Good Food, so I have many choices. Fantastic. Well, guys, this was a great discussion. I really love hearing from you and it being as interactive as it was tonight. So we will gather again in 2 weeks' time for another chat. I like to try to pick up on whatever is newsy in the world of wine and restaurants and wine travel. So feel free to suggest topics for our next chat. And for my students, I will see you in 10 minutes in the private Facebook group for course members. All right? Take care, guys. Thank you so much for joining me here this evening. I really, really appreciate it. Good night. Stay safe and stay healthy. Bye for now.